Welcome to Podject Los Angeles. My name is Adrian Perez, and I have my guest, KAVIAR. If you guys want to introduce yourselves each, I think that would be the best way to do it.
Yeah, so I'm Phil, a.k.a. DJ Philly Mac, the guy behind the tables, the business behind the scenes. What's up, y'all?
What's up? Thanks for coming on, man.
I'm assuming since I'm in the same room with you, I should. Yeah, so I'm Dre. Give him the D. That'll be me. Primarily do a lot of the production, co-writing. And we're more times than not, if you see us working in the lab, it's my home setup.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
Everybody. My bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was good, everybody. My name is Lee, that boy Lee. You already know what it is. You can see me on this podcast a couple of times.
Nice.
I was waiting to hear. I like DJ Philly Mac, if you please.
I know. Well, you guys had some cool headline starters. I have just a standard boring one. I got to come up with a cool one, like A. Drees, aka Drees Nuts, in the building. I've been wanting to use that for a while, but I haven't figured out when I'm going to use it.
That was the time right there,
bro.
Maybe
that was the time. You should
put a couple horns behind it.
I know. But yeah, I mean, this podcast is going to be all about you guys. I've been wanting to have you guys on a podcast. I mean, ever since I knew you guys were a group, ever since Josh told me you guys were getting together and doing your thing, and just with schedules and everyone being busy and the pandemic going on, it's when the right time comes, and this is that right time. But I'm glad to finally have you guys on, and I do have some good topics to cover today, and I'm glad you guys took the time to come on.
Thanks for having us.
When you guys were thinking of becoming a group and like getting together, how did that come to be? Like, was it someone's idea? Was it like you guys were just hanging out, like, oh, we should start a group. I do this, I do this, I know I do this. We should get together. How did it initially get started, and how did the idea come to be about?
We've actually all known each other for 12 years, probably a little longer than that.
At least 10 plus.
Yeah. So we ended up getting together randomly. We all knew we did music at some point in the past. We've all locked in or kind of, done some music together, or kind of at least just, shared some creative space. But me and Phil had locked in recently, or more recently. And I was bouncing a few ideas off of him. He was bouncing some off of me. And we posted a couple on IG, just randomly. Lee ended up tapping in on one. It was like, oh, yo, I see y'all making some music. I'm going to slide through. So it was like, all right, for sure, slide through then. Since all three of us finally getting together, we ain't all seen each other collectively in a while. Why don't we just, y'all bring some of what y'all working on, I'll bring some of what I'm working on. And help me with my shit. I'll help y'all with y'all shit. And then just in that first night, actually for my first project, only one ended up being what we did that first night. The very first night we got together, and we held on to that all the way through, I don't know, 6 or 7, 8 singles, and it ended up making its way onto our first EP. And then after that, we're just like, oh, that was so much fun. Phil was like, I like this. Lee was like, I don't know about y'all, but I like this. So let's do this again.
And how we actually ended up becoming a group, we were mixing, we were in the studio mixing the crew. And while we were sitting there, it was like, so we a group? Yeah, I guess we are. And then actually came up with the name. And that's how we ended up forming KAVIAR, was when we were in the studio mixing the crew. And I think by that time, that was the third song that we ended up
starting. Only one, then Freak Nasty, then the crew.
Yeah. So we happened very organically. Like Dre said, we all kind of just linked up just to bounce and be creative together. The songs just came out. They came naturally. None of us were like, oh, we need to be a group, or it was just really, I want to work with you guys because you're also creatives. And every time I come into this space, the energy is just positive. It's fun. There's no bad ideas, and it's all constructive criticism between us all. And just that good energy and the camaraderie between us, we just formed KAVIAR.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely better, especially the more material you guys are making, or anyone's creating anything. if everyone's just like positive and like saying you're doing a great job, man, just keep it up, just keep doing your thing. If you don't have any like feedback to kind of like give you new ideas or like to let you know like, okay, maybe this could have been better, this could have been a little bit better, I could have changed this, then we'll never grow and we'll never make something better. And
Growth and evolving.
yeah, and some people may be afraid of saying it. They may be like, I don't know. Not everyone is as openly opinionated as we are, maybe. But you know, we always, at least myself, I love welcoming constructive criticism. Like for anything I'm creating, like I'm the most critical person on myself of everything I'm doing. So I'm sure you guys are very critical of yourselves too. And when you don't hear like outside criticism or like a, you know, someone with a different point of view, it like kind of like just tell me something I could do better, something I could do better. It always helps. But yeah, I mean, it's and to kind of like, I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but are you guys all from LA or are you guys all from the Bay Area, or where is the born location tie into all this? Because I know where Josh is from. I have an idea where you guys are from, but I'm not 100% sure.
Bay Area. So I'm San Francisco.
Okay, cool. San
I'm Bay Area as well, so I'm Fairfield.
Fairfield, okay.
Yeah, so
Josh Easy?
Bay Area. Originally from Richmond.
Okay, cool. It's so interesting. All of us are like within like, well, San Francisco kind of like stretched a little further, but like maybe 50-mile radius. Because I was technically born in San Francisco too, but I lived mostly in like Dixon, Davis, Sacramento area.
Oh yeah, I used to love Davis.
Sacramento. Yeah, Davis used to be.
Yeah,
Davis. Yeah, Davis used to go up.
Downtown Davis used to be popping. Lit. Probably still is, but I'm saying I haven't been there in a minute.
I mean, I know a little bit about Josh's background, but maybe there's more I don't know. What musical backgrounds did you guys come from? Did you guys like have parents that were in the music industry or were musical, or a lot of friends growing up when you were, you know, getting into it that were into music, or how was the musical background for you guys?
I'll go first. So for me, surprisingly, I don't have a lot of music in my family, unlike this amazing, talented person here. But just growing up, I found music as my escape. And in high school, I started, you know, just doing mixes for like the basketball team, you know, doing all the walkout warm-up songs. And one of my teachers had invited me to do the music for a poetry slam. So after the poetry slam, you know, I picked out everybody's walk off and walk on song. And the response I got from that, it was like, wow, yeah, I'm really kind of good with this. How can I take this passion and turn it into something? And that's when I decided to DJ. And then I had my first DJ set in 2010. And the party was one of like the defining moments for me in my music career. I was like, okay, I can legit do this. And I love the way that music can make people move. So since 2010, I decided to run with it, and I've just been a DJ ever since.
Did you have a lot of DJ equipment like younger growing up, like in middle school or high school? Or because I know DJ equipment could be like, it could be super expensive, and you could start from like just having the bare essentials or like the basics. But did you already have a lot of DJ equipment when you were younger growing up till now?
I had zero DJ equipment. So the only thing I had, I believe, like virtual DJ. And you know, it was the free version. So,
yeah.
So you can sit there on the computer and like try to make your mixes. And, you know, it's just very beginner. I didn't have a groundwork to start on. So everything that I've built and I've learned from has just been me being in the industry, talking to other DJs, learning from other DJs, going on YouTube and figuring out how to match BPMs and how to transition well. So my groundwork was just my love of music and making them work for me.
Real quick, for those who are wondering, like, who the hell is Josh? That's my government name. Lee's my government name too. My name is Joshua Lee. I just want to put that out there because you were like, who the hell is Josh? Why you say Lee? But I've been in music for a long time. Like, I've always loved music. Growing up, my dad used to play a lot of old school music. My mom played a lot of old school music. But my journey for music started in band. I started in band when I was in 4th grade, and I did that up until my sophomore year. And in that time, I started like two of my favorite artists is Timbaland and Missy, and I've always wanted to be like a Timbaland or as dope as Missy Elliott when it came to like making music. So around like when I was 12, I started like making beats. I got like this. I think my mom bought it. It was like this little ass keyboard that was like those little ass kid ones. It didn't record nothing, but I just like used that. And then by the time I was in high school, I actually started making beats on the computer using Fruity Loops. And then I started working heavily with an artist named Christina Love around that time. And that's kind of when I really got into like making beats for real and like, ooh, I want to get into the music industry. Like, that's what I want to do. And then decided after high school I was going to go to school for recording engineering, where I actually met that guy over here on the screen. He's like, me?
Me?
Yeah, and after we graduated and I got out of school, I did a little bit of music after that, and I kind of just dropped it. Stopped doing it for a while, and then KAVIAR happened, and now you get to hear what you hear today from me and these guys. So yeah, that's pretty much my music journey.
Took a hiatus, huh?
Took a hiatus.
Introducing Dre's Lifetime 3-part special.
Yeah, now we have all the time in the world for you, Dre. So take your time and be nice and slow.
No. Actually, nice and slow. That almost brings it full circle. You didn't even know to Usher, but I'm just gonna say that was a little bit of foreshadowing. We're gonna jump right back to the beginning now. It all started when when
I was a little boy in 1939 in a cold winter. I had no shoes that day.
Similar. My dad actually plays piano. Actually just plays piano. The entire piano family, drums, bass. My dad's a musician. And he and my mom met. My mom was actually in the choir at church. So my background, is heavy gospel, and grew up with a music room in the house, which till this day I still haven't been able to quite match the one that I grew up in. My dad had a baby grand piano, an organ, a Hammond organ, an acoustic drum set, electric guitar, and then his studio setup. And so that was like my Disneyland still to this day. That's just always to have a music studio was kind of just what I grew up with. And that's just kind of your outlet, but also like for business or whatever else. But like till I die, that will just be the move. I don't have a grand piano yet, but that is literally on my list of dream things to make happen. And so, heavy background in church, was in a private school a Christian school. So we had to join choir and band in 3rd grade and 5th grade. So I played clarinet and was in choir. The first secular, that's how you knew somebody grew up in church, like, the secular artist, the worldly artist you're allowed to listen to was Usher. That was the first, I forgot which EP it was. It was the one that had Nice and Slow. Well, Nice and Slow I wasn't even allowed to listen to. But You Make Me Wanna, Bedtime, My Way. I can't remember which EP that is.
Nice, bro. That was his first project. His second project?
Yeah. So what? Okay, so that project
like 90 something.
Yeah.
I think it's on My Way, actually.
Yeah. So so whichever one had, You Make Me Wanna and all that. That was like the first EP we were allowed to listen to, but we still had to skip like Bedtime and Nice and Slow. So that was ironic that you said, take it nice and slow, Dre. And let me see what happened. Flash forward, did that, kind of, did whatever else I was doing for school. And then in college, I was doing film and television. And right after I was done with all those units in my AAs, I was like, I kind of want to go delve a little more into music because I was always just kind of doing it sparsely. So I decided I wasn't going to transfer to university and bought music law books and music business books and songwriting books and kind of just, I read those and self-produced my first EP and Heart of My Sleeve by Andre Wilson. It's really old, but I still I like it. I self-produced it. I actually wrote all the songs. And that was like my first experience with music. Fun fact, Phil actually I hired him to come out and DJ for that first event because my parents wanted to do like a release event. And so Phil and me go like that far back because that project is old. That's like
that was back in the Bay Area, or that was here in LA?
That was
Bay Area.
Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
This was like in 2000.
No, this is 2012, 2011.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Long time ago. So, but yeah, so that was then. Actually, even then, because I was always making beats at the house. And I remember Lee slid through one day. He's like, "Oh yeah, dude, I make music. I want to slide through." And I remember he even came through and chilled one day. And so it's so funny, just kind of all this to come full circle. I decided I was gonna move down to LA like 5 or 6 years ago to come to music school, and just kind of pursued independent artist work. And yeah, and now we are here doing the independent artist thing.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool, man. Have you guys all lived here about 6 years?
I've been here for 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, just about 6 because I'm going on 7 now.
Yeah, I'm almost at 7.
Okay, 5, 6, 7. Everyone's like around the same time. That's crazy. That's crazy that like all of us came around the same time. I moved here 2015, like the end of 2015, and Josh was here like 6 months later, and then you guys must have been getting here around the same time. That's just crazy how fate works like that. And look at us now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Look at us now. That's crazy.
And like they both mentioned, we have all known each other for 10 plus years, but it took the move to LA for us to really connect.
Well, you know, everybody like back home, and it's not like you have to come down here to do it, but like, you know, it's not like a large music scene where we were. And so like, yeah, San Jose is pretty good. Oakland, Sacramento has like a few things going, but it's just a lot more opportunity and options down here in LA. So you always get people who are like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to LA. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to LA. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to LA." You know, wouldn't say too bad, like, you know. And then you come down here, and then some people do or they don't. But like, it's also cool to come down here and see that they came down and actually kept doing it though. Because some people come down here and life happens and shit, and you just end up working, or you end up doing something else, or you just end up tapping out. So it was cool to see them, because I kind of, you know, I support everything they were doing. You know, you like shit or whatever. But it was cool to see that they were like still doing it, which is even what caused me to even reach out to Phil, because I was like, "Oh, I know you're still DJing and shit." I was like, "Yo, slide through so I can bounce some stuff off of you, and you can bounce some stuff off of me." And then Lee was like, "Yo, hey, y'all, I've been trying to talk about getting back into music." Well, everybody says that. We'll see if he shows the fuck up or not. And then he actually showed up. And I was like, "All right."
Came through on that ass and was like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
Yeah, because even before like we all started linking up consistently, I'd have a show here and there, and sometimes Dre would pop up, sometimes Lee would come through. So we were still, you know, in heavy rotation with each other, just being in LA.
And I think right before we actually like linked up, Dre was doing a music video.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and that's kind of like when we talked the first time, all three of us in the same room, like, we got to link up and just like get into music. And then that's why when I seen them, I was like, these motherfuckers linking up. I gotta.
It's my time too.
But yeah, like I think it's so dope. I think it's so dope that, you know what I'm saying, like to leave, you know, from home, because not a lot of people want to do that. You know what I'm saying, and to come out here and then people that you know from back home actually doing what they said they wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's motivating, encouraging, and it's just dope because it's familiar at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that just makes it amazing.
Which I think it's a good segue to like your guys' EP that you guys put out not too long ago. When you guys were putting that out, how did you guys envision that? How did you guys like? I know there's a long story to that. I just got a little snippet of what Josh was telling me, but it's crazy. I know nothing about it except just the little tiny highlights. But how did the EP come to be, and how did you guys start that?
Well, we actually didn't really know that we were going to do an EP, to be honest. Phil had brought it up a couple of times. It was like, you know, we should do an EP. We're like, oh yeah, yeah. But we thought we were just going to keep putting out singles, and then the idea of the EP, I mean, the more we kept just doing the music, the more it just kind of made sense to put together an EP. and we honestly didn't even have a direction on where we were going with the EP. So that like everything organically just kind of came together. We had planned to do like a rise retreat and everything, just to formulate some ideas, and that's kind of how we birthed some of the songs that's on the EP. But yeah, the EP just kind of just happened.
Well, Phil was pushing for. I remember we were doing the singles, and Phil was like, he said, as a DJ, he was like, I want to put something together that's collective and cohesive. And so I'm like, well, I guess that's a decent argument, because aside from that, I was just content doing the singles at the time. But he kept pushing for it. So then when he said it like that, I was like, all right, well, cool. There's no harm, harm in doing that. Yeah. But as we started putting the EP together and started to see some of the projects, because what we ended up doing was we had the Rise Retreat. Again, like Lee said, we got birthed a couple of songs and created a couple there. And then we got back and we were like, all right, cool. What else do we already have that's already pre-recorded, already started? What matches and blends well with this? And then once you kind of started to hear them formulate, we started kind of, doing song selections like, oh, this is good. Like, this is good. This was actually a good idea. Go, Phil. You knew what the fuck you're talking about. Crazy.
What were you thinking, Phil, when everyone was, not everyone, but Josh and Dre were saying, like, let's just do singles. Let's just, get this going first. What was your idea or thought process of, like, let's just do an EP? Like, what was your reason for it? Which was the right idea, I think. But what was your thinking?
And so, just me being the DJ, that's how I kind of view everything. So if I can like refer artists, I'm like, okay, we got to go listen to this project. This is something that you can just like put on and just run through. And that's definitely something that I wanted for us, as well as I think it looks really good in our catalog. So like, yes, we got a bunch of singles, but we also have a project that we wanted to make and we wanted to put together. So instead of just, having one complete song, now we have one complete package we can give away too.
Yeah. And with the EP, I think it's great because it gives you kind of a glimpse of what to expect when we actually do an album. I mean, not to say that you're going to expect, but you kind of just get a glimpse of like what you possibly could expect if we were to, deliver an album to everyone. So doing EPs, I think is great in hindsight. Phil, you're right.
Right. Yeah. But also I think it was good to show because we were striving to, with our sound, still catering, or not catering to it, still creating it and crafting it. But we were striving hard to make sure we didn't lump ourselves in. So we would always, we would like find our center point and still try and make sure we went right this time when last time we went left to go back this next one, so that it always sounded a little different. I think the EP, in hindsight, again, was really good for us as well to show that we actually could do something cohesive. And like, oh, they can stay on topic. Like, so you'll hear some rappers or lyricists talk about, many of these people, they rap, but they can't stay on the same topic. Yeah. So I was like, in the same sense, like, oh, well, these people put out music, but they can never put out, something that shows that they can actually stay on the same point or send the same message. Granted, we could have chosen any subject matter. We kind of just gravitated towards what we did. And it feels good to now know when we look at the catalog, to say, first off, we have to say we have a catalog, but also to see that amongst all the singles and seeing the different artwork is an actual EP. That's a 6-song project. And it's like, oh, yeah.
One thing we talked about too was, so I know I said we didn't have no direction, but we ended up like kind of formulating our direction the more we kept working on the EP. Yeah. And doing a little bit more of R&B heavy ended up becoming an idea, which if you go through our catalog is dope, because the only other R&B song, I guess the only R&B songs really that we put out was Westside and Take Control. Outside of that, everything else was like, what I'm saying, like hip hop or like rap. And the song before this EP dropped was Pharaoh. So to go from Pharaoh and then we hit you with this EP, it's just like, wait, what? They out here singing and shit? You know what I'm saying? And I just think it's dope because it kind of like what we were talking about earlier, how, like we challenge ourselves to keep trying to sound different from our last project, but within still, holding some bit of a sound that we started out with in the beginning, which you can hear with like Westside.
Yeah. I think having diversity in the songs, and like if you do all hip hop, it kind of like I mean, there are some albums that are just all hip hop, I guess, but it is good to change it up and like keep the genres changing and just like being able to make music that could appeal to everybody too. And it's just a nice change. Like, I mean, I don't know if you guys were, when you guys were making the EP, you guys were thinking like, okay, so we want to like start up here and then we want to kind of cool off and then get back to being exciting, and kind of like with your, you guys had like 7 or 9 songs. Like, I don't know if that's what you guys were thinking at all.
He had to curate it. We had the projects, we kind of made the selection, and then it was like, Phil, you're the DJ. How would you, like, if you were spinning this entire album, which you will at some point be doing, what would you do? I don't know if you want to say anything more about that, but I just wanted to give you
So, I
credit
mean,
for
yeah,
that.
he pretty much covered most of it. Pretty much how I would want to hear the song as being out and about or throughout the day. So each song has its own vibe, and I want to bring you basically on a journey with us. So that whole tape is, emotion after emotion, but it's not a drastic change. So you can feel each song as you get deeper into the EP.
Come on, take us on a journey.
That was deep.
You guys got a different name for it. I was like, damn, we got a tape out now too. This is great. Yeah, we got an album out, we got an EP, we got a tape. What
Round
else
one, baby.
Yeah.
So, Phil, I'm gonna need you to say, all right, now we're gonna take you on a journey. Buckle up your seatbelts.
All right, y'all, buckle up. We going on a journey. We'll take y'all to a little town called KAVIAR.
Come on now.
Baby.
Hey.
We got an intro. That's an intro for something.
When you guys were, I mean, I guess coming up with all the songs and like creating one by one and like getting everything prepared in the shows, what would you guys say? I don't know if you guys all have a different experience or different opinion, but what would you guys say the hardest part was? And I mean, for lack of a better word, the easiest part about creating an LP was? EP, sorry, EP.
Well, I'm gonna say,
I'll go first, real quick.
It's Phil's time.
So I'm gonna start with the hardest part. So for me, and I think for the team, I think the hardest part was giving ourselves a time, because there was so much that we wanted to do. To try to pack that all into just a little bit of time was very hard, especially just being the creative people we are, because we do get sidetracked a little bit, but also we want to put out the best quality that we can. So that was the hardest part, was just time. The best part about it was just the energy and, the fun that we had in creating it all. So like a quick story about the song Fire, we made that one on a writer's retreat. And
I didn't know where it's going.
So with Fire, it came very organically. We're all just on the retreat right now, and we're vibing, and Dre's just making beats. There's drinks going around. It's high energy. It's a lot of love. And I think I came down the stairs and I was like, Dre, that's fire. And then, Lee's doing his thing, and then he starts rapping bars to it. And by the next morning, we have a song.
bro. Okay, I might just keep it silent. I'm gonna
There's
keep
a
it.
little more in there. I'll let them elaborate.
I didn't even know. Well, I didn't even know this was a thing because I was toasted.
Yo, we got all the way the fuck back home. I don't think I played what we had, because I'd been recording everything. Again, Lee did scratch. We only named it Fire that night because Phil called it Fire when he came downstairs. So it was just all like, it all happened like that. But I played it when we got back to the studio, when we linked back up, when we got back home. And it probably been like a couple of days later. And Lee's like, oh, this shit slapped. This is what we did? Like, yeah. Then he hears his voice on it. He's like, fuck, when we record this? When I get on this? He was so toasted, he didn't even realize that he recorded. He recorded on the whole fucking track, didn't even realize he did it.
So if you gonna listen to it, then y'all gonna listen to it and y'all hear the what? I'm drunk.
Yeah, we kept that. We kept that raw energy. We weren't taking that out.
Yeah, that's raw. That's the whole raw cut. You know what I'm saying?
It's a magic
No protection
right
on
there.
that one.
It's magic. So
I keep joking about it, but I think I will we'll have to sit down one of the days and just like play the scratch version of that one, just so y'all understand, and then play the real one. So like, oh shit, that's what it was. Glad y'all didn't put that out, but like you can hear the energy on it though, and then you can see why Fire, how that became what it was.
You gotta put out you gotta put out an album that's like the unedited director's cut album, like how the Beatles used to do, where you hear like the background, like preparing, getting the instruments ready, and it's like there's some downtime, and then the song goes on. That's probably people love that. I'd love to hear it.
Well, for everybody watching, go ahead and check out our YouTube so you can get some backstories on some of the songs and how they were created.
Oh yeah, duh.
Yeah.
How was your on your guys' YouTube? Because I'm trying to keep as relevant as I can on YouTube as well. How do you guys do your YouTube video uploads? Are you guys uploading like sessions? Are you guys uploading the making of the song? How are you guys your guys' YouTube like presence?
So we're still working on it, to be completely honest. But what we uploaded so far is just like we have a couple of like recorded performances that we have on there.
Okay.
And a couple of, I think, like just behind the scene things. But moving forward, yeah, we're definitely going to be uploading like sessions that we're going to be doing, so people can get more of an insight of what we do, outside of just showing y'all recorded performances and stuff, or you know what I'm saying, or just performing. They get to see the inside of it, the insider.
I think the live stream probably would be the most comprehensive so far. We did a live stream for the. Actually, I can't even say it was for the EP. It was probably more so you kind of just collectively see what we had done as the whole time. And so I think the live stream would probably be, it's a little lengthy, but like, it's not a documentary, but like that would probably be the most comprehensive thing you could watch and get the best idea of KAVIAR versus watching the smaller ones. We want to give everybody, we want to pretty much invite everybody along the process in whatever aspect we can. The sessions are always hella fun. Like people lock in with the live sometime. Like we used to record our lives a lot during a session. Yeah. And people are like, damn, y'all look like y'all having hella fun. We are.
It's cool. It's fun recording. Yeah. It's definitely fun recording. I don't know. So I don't know if that was your answer, Dre, or if you gave an answer, but well, that was Phil's answer for the best and worst of creating an EP. What would be your answer after the fact? The hardest and
I think he said time was for the extra creativity. Mine would be the fact that we hadn't embarked on a full, so again, time, but in a slightly different sense. We'd only been doing singles up to that point. So when we say we're gonna do this, I had just taken on mixing for that project on top of we were like shooting stuff. So we didn't realize just how much work was involved to have to do a collective 6 projects, as opposed to just one. Obviously, you would think the simple math, but in our head, we're like, oh, fuck, we're doing one EP. You didn't think about it as 6 projects on that EP. So timing, because like so much to do. And even if we didn't have time constraints, we kept trying to we had to push back. And it was like, so again, do we keep the timetable we set or do we keep the quality? And ultimately we chose try to get the best quality we could, but we also wanted to stop pushing the time back. So you got the great project you did. The easiest thing, I would probably say the easiest thing, I'd say that across the board with even all the projects is usually for me, just producing the beats for the projects. Because again, everybody's energy flow is so good. So when everybody's here, I can just start. I kind of go off the vibe of what we're all doing and we're good. And I don't have to really worry about where the song direction is going or not, because usually they kind of start in on that. Cool. So yeah, I would say, the starting on the production of the songs or the production of the songs is usually the easiest part for me. The difficult part was doing it all in a timely fashion.
Time management, yeah. I know the struggle of time management, but hey, it's a good gift to have that you could, make production and do beats so easily that it just comes easy, and that's like the easiest part. So it's a gift to have for sure.
Great, thank you. Yeah, it's a hard skill set to learn.
What about you, Josh? What would you say the easiest and hardest part was of making the EP?
Well, not to sound like a broken record, but the time management was definitely difficult. You know what I'm saying? But I would say oddly enough, not to say that was easy, but for me, the easiest part of the process, and I think just because us just all being together and just being creative was the writing portion of it, which is crazy because sometimes it's hard for me to write, like just to even think of anything. And some of the songs, like for example, Fire, I think was the last song that we ended up finishing, and I wrote that verse in 30 minutes while we were sitting there trying to figure out what we were going to talk about. I had 2 lines. I was sitting there and I was like, hey, Phil, I'm gonna say something about wearing gators. And he was like, all right. Just that idea, like within 20, 30 minutes, I came up with the verse. So that's what I would say would be the easiest for me on this project was coming up with the verses. Yeah, man. But the whole process was dope. Like I've never done an EP, so to go through that process, which I don't think outside of Andre, he had his project prior to this, but to go through that whole process and putting together an EP and everything, giving ourselves like a deadline and having to reach that and just knowing like the steps that it takes to get there, and then learning like, okay, like this is what we can do better next time, but this is what we did that was great that we can utilize the next time we get ready for another project. So yeah, like the whole EP experience, man, was amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I love the EP. I think what you guys did was amazing. I mean, a lot of people would agree as well, and I'm looking forward to the next one for sure. And I don't know when you guys are planning on doing that, but what's a sneak peek of what you would tell the audience or me what future plans of KAVIAR is, or what's the next project you guys are going to do?
Well, we know for sure that we'll be delivering visuals. As far as like the music part of it, we are going to be working on music, but we're not going to say what we're really going to do just yet. We do know we're going to do a follow-up to this EP, but we're just going to take it to the drawing board and see what we really want to do as our follow-up.
Okay. Well, and there's to be clear and or to be honest, we have some projects already pre-recorded. Like in our head, when we were doing the other one, we already had like a round 2 and a round 3 set out. Right. But then what we wanted to do is we wanted to sit with after. We actually KAVIAR took a break after we did the other one. What we wanted to do was sit with what we'd done and kind of marinate in that and kind of see, all right, what we have done different, reflect, etc. So we actually only just relinked back up. Like we've all been like together and shit, but like we only just relinked back up as KAVIAR just recently, maybe like a few weeks ago. So right now what we're doing is now we're all getting back. We're having a meeting of the minds like, all right, cool. Where do we want to take this now? Because we got to sit with what we did and go, all right, yeah, fuck, this is still like, I'm still getting compliments about shit. And I'm like, yo, that's good to know. Cause there were songs that I didn't think were like, I was like, I like them all, but I was like, oh, that's the one you really wrote with? Cool. So now we can take all that feedback. Now coming into this next one, we're like, cool, this is what we wanted to do for round 2. This is what we wanted to do for round 3. Do we want to do those right now? We still have 13 or 14 fucking projects that we still can really give a lot more energy to, especially as far as visuals. We still want to do some collabing. So like some dancers, like artists, like we want, so like, even if it's not just us in the visuals, we'd love to get some people to do some visuals to what we're doing. Again, it's art, so it doesn't have to always be just us. And I think that's really the next direction is kind of collabing, getting some visuals done, as well as deciding which of the projects. I know I have a favorite. I ain't gonna talk about it right now, but I have 1 or 2 I definitely want to drop. But we'll see when we're doing that. But there will be some new music this year as well. Just which one? No.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait until you guys, give that notification saying new KAVIAR on its way, new KAVIAR coming. I'll be the first one to be waiting for it. Do you guys have, I mean, I know you guys said the easiest and the hardest things about making an EP, but for anyone who's new in the industry or wants to get in the music industry or wants to start up, do you guys have any advice for anyone that would be interested in doing that and getting into it?
Practice your craft. Develop a thick skin if you don't have one, because you want people to critique you. There's always room to grow. You will always, in any room, you will always be in a room with people who are better than you, way better than you, and there will always be people who are worse than you, or further, or let's say less developed, I should say. So be humble, because if you're not, somebody will fucking humble you real quick, or life will. And then this is also my message to myself. All these are my message to myself, but this one in particular, and we're applying that this year in 2021, is stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. Just put your shit out, like within reason. Make sure you can give as best quality as you can, but don't sit on shit, because individually, solely, we have a whole lot of shit we have, but even as KAVIAR, we have a lot of shit that we're like, are we being perfectionists at this point because the quality is good? Or are we like waiting for some perfect, bump
right.
that.
Perfection is fake. So, you know what I'm saying?
Nothing ever perfect.
Yeah,
Be consistent.
And look, I say this: this is an industry of it only takes that one. You know what I'm saying? And you can have the hottest song, you just drop that, and it might have been cool 3 weeks, and you ain't heard about it, and then 2 years later, you never know. So like, just drop it. Don't worry about perfection. You will get better as you go. So that's what all I would say.
Okay.
Oh, and be genuine. Just can we do that too?
Oh,
I rather
yeah.
says that fake it till you make it shit.
Yeah.
I like the what is it? I like the better one. It's like dress for the job you want, or dress for the part you want in life. I get that. But the fake it, I don't just fuck with fake people. That's just a me thing. So just be genuine, because people can tell me you're fake, and it's
yeah, very important.
Yeah, for me, it's just show support to other people's artistry and craft. So, because you're asking for the same thing, so don't ask for what you're not going to give out.
Yeah.
So that one person that's just like, hey, yo, can I please get an RT? Give them an RT. Give them a like. Leave them a fire comment. Just that engagement and actually taking the time to listen to other people's stuff, because that's just going to come right back to you.
Piggyback off that, just real quick, I would just to go what he's saying. Learn to network sideways and not up. You know what I'm saying? Stop looking so much for those who are. Yeah, laterally. Look at the peers, because those are going to be the ones that help you get to where you need to be, or where you're trying to be. So.
Yeah, no, I love that, especially when you guys are getting everything, the fundamentals down and getting more and more exposed and being everywhere. It's important to communicate and be involved with your listeners and your audience. What would you guys want to shout out for where to find you guys, where to listen to you guys, and how to reach you guys for viewers in the audience?
At Official Caviar on most of anything. YouTube at Official Caviar. You can find us on all digital stores, specifically Spotify. If you go to our IG, you can find a link tree, and it has all our links.
We're on Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, Deezer, whatever your listening platform is. Guaranteed we're there. Just type in Official Caviar and start your vibe.
Where else can people look forward to seeing you on, or what other platforms are you guys planning on being more interactive on, or uploading places on, if any?
We did a live on Twitch, and that went really well. So
Twitch.
I really want
live stream, yeah,
live stream on Twitch. So
okay,
yeah. So we're going to be a little bit of everywhere. So go ahead and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. That's definitely where we're prevalent at, and you'll even catch me DJing on Twitch every now and then too. So hit the subscribe, the like, and the little notification button. So when I pop on, you pop on.
I want to thank you guys again, and I really appreciate you guys coming on. You guys are doing a great thing. You guys are very inspirational to everyone who wants to be in the music industry, who wants to do it, who wants to create something. I think you guys are a great example of, if you love something and you're good at something, just do it. Put yourself out there, and you guys will learn along the way, and you guys created something beautiful. So, kudos to you guys, and big thumbs up to you guys for doing your thing.
Thank you.
You too, Podject LA.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you for having us on. You got an amazing platform as well. Definitely happy to be here, and excited to see this when it airs too.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, for everyone watching, you guys could watch and subscribe on YouTube. All the full audio is going to be on Spotify and Apple Music. You guys follow us on my social medias I'm going to have on the bottom of the video. But looking forward to having you guys on again. Can't wait for the next project. And this Podject Los Angeles, thank you again for being on, guys.
Yeah.